Well, here's what I want to discuss. If you could have a beef with any team in the AFC South, would it be the Titans?
No, because I already smacked them a couple times. It really be Houston. It really be Houston.
All right, welcome into the show. A fellow podcaster. I like getting these guys on because they're pros, man. They're good at this stuff, and I think the podcast is great. It's Zaire Franklin, and the podcast is The Trenches with Zaire Franklin. I just started watching it, and I can't get enough, man. We were just talking about it offline. I think the key is you guys are like, it's like you're sitting in the locker room. Is that the aim?
Yeah, I feel like you know when you just sitting in the locker room. Like today, we just dropped the episode with Michael Pittman, and he gave his own top 10 receivers. So we going back and forth just arguing, and you know how that gets. You'll be in the locker room 2 hours after everybody left. Is you three guys, the equipment guys,
dude. Like somebody get dressed and leave, bro.
Like no one's showered yet. We all just sitting here arguing in towels about. Well, I like AJ. I like CD. You know what I mean? Stuff gets ridiculous. So, but yeah, though, me, Speed, and my boy Tim. Really, honestly, the whole idea was just, myself being the 7th rounder, Speed being the 5th rounder. Both of us, special teamers in our hearts. Just kind of trying to get that perspective to the fans and to the rest of the league, that, how the 90%ers live and, just talking our way through it. So
I always say it's like another sport. Like dudes that play special teams to me, I'm like, bro, you got it.
Did you ever play special? You never played special.
I played a little bit because I was a high pick, so they kind of tried to put me in there to like keep me humble and have me doing the thing on field goal where I was doing this shit. And I was like, bro, I don't even know how to do that.
That's a man spot though. That's probably the most underrated spot on the whole team. You have to get pretty much your shit ran through every time we score a touchdown, and there's no defense. Nobody cares. You're just the most thankless job in the league. That and like holder, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, and the only way anybody knows you were on it is if you get a fucking field goal blocked.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
What do you think is the because I think special teamers are like real hard asses. What do you think is the most hard ass like position on special teams?
I'm gonna definitely say I'm gonna speak just for myself, but playing guard on punt is just not sweet, bro.
Really?
I've had to deal with Calais Campbell coming at me full speed on a twist game. I'm in there mixing it up with Christian Wilkins and, Aaron Donald. And it's kind of like, bro, do I really get paid for this? I guess I do, but it's not what I was born to do.
You're like, fuck, it's punt safe. There's Aaron Donald.
I know, like, you go out there, I'm trying to be cool with Calais. Yo, what's up?
Yeah, dap him up, bro. I've been watching you longer.
What's good? You good? You all right? Like,
you look good, dude.
Yeah, he's pissed at Quentin about something. He's taking it out on me. It's never good. And the worst is, I'm not going to lie, the worst is when the guy next to you messes up, because then they always put, like, the best. So, like, Speed was next to me, and Speed was, like, younger than me, so he was, like, a young hothead and shit. So, like, I'm trying to talk Speed through so much stuff. One time he messes up. They end up putting, like, Judon over there. Judon's, like, hooking us both up. And I'm like, what are we doing, bro? Like, yeah. So.
Dude, and I heard y'all talking about Bubba. Bubba, I played I was in New England for a year, and Bubba was the coach, and he was one of the coaches that I got real tight with. I wasn't on any teams, but I love Bubba, man.
Oh, yeah. Bubba is that's my dog. He still texts me like workout songs and shit. Bubba thinks he still wants to.
He thinks he's still playing.
Kickoff, yeah, for sure.
But he's a great coach. I mean, he's definitely one of the. And you as a teamer, early in your career, especially, like the difference between guys who are great coordinators and who aren't. And I put him up near the top of the league.
No question. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was actually just thinking about this the other day, but yeah, like Bubba, I would really say might be one of the most influential coaches that I've had, especially just in my NFL career. I remember, as a rookie, I came in 7th round, had a little playing time early, to be honest, let it get to my head, wasn't doing what I had to do. Then I kind of came to Bubba on some like, look, I need to be on kickoff. And he was like, no, like, you're not good at this. And, kind of from that standpoint, from my rookie year and like until now, just kind of how he's like held me accountable, like taught me how to practice, like taught me how to prepare, I used to just go into meetings with him and just sit and just break down, like talking about, special teams and stuff like that, and just how to be a dynamic and great player. I think Bubba, he had a huge influence on not only myself but Speed too. I know Speed would co-sign it as much as well too. Like, so he's definitely one of the best coaches I have, and I think it's truly because he cares about the players and he cares about the game. And when you got a coach that's like done it at a high level, been around guys that done it at a high level, I think that always plays like a major role in like, how they're able to connect the guys because they know what it's like to be in the locker room. So they know what you're expecting from a coach. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's always a good vibe. Bubba's, that's my man.
And I've had Shane on the show. I feel like Shane, I don't know if he played. He might have played like in college or something for sure, but like he doesn't strike you as a player, but he is kind of he gets the players because he doesn't try too hard.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Like from interviewing him, I was like, this guy's not selling me something. Yes. What is it about Shane that makes that happen?
Man, I think Shane, like, it's weird because I don't know if he did play, but I think Shane, he's got that bug, that tick in his head that we all have as competitors. You know what I mean? Like, he's also like close in age, so he kind of knows what we like. You know what I mean? From music, so like he hit, like you know what I mean. I feel like you always want your coach.
He's younger than me, dude.
Yeah, I know. We got Joe Flacco now. Joe Flacco's actually the oldest dude in our.
Yeah, me and Flacco same draft class. I saw him last year up at Inside the NFL doing that show, and he was trying out. I'm like, "What are you doing, man?" He's like, "I'm thinking about going back and playing." I was like, "Are you fucking crazy?" and he had a great year, and I cannot believe Cleveland let him walk.
I mean, when you know how that is. If the backup quarterback takes the team to the playoff, when the starting quarterback, you got to get him out of there. You got to get it's too much controversy, it's too much issues. So yeah, but now he on our side. So God bless.
Now Minshew, had he gotten you out of the playoffs, I feel like, I don't think he got sent off because he was too good. I just think he's too hot a commodity. Like everybody needs a Minshew, right? Like you guys win that game at the end of the season. I kept fucking up at work calling it a playoff game.
It was.
I'm like, because it was. Mm-hmm. What did you guys learn about yourselves last year, culminating in that game and the atmosphere and what it takes to win that division?
Man, I think we just learned that we wasn't there yet. You know what I mean? And I think the hardest part of like success sometimes is going through those moments of failure to kind of finally reach that pinnacle that you really want to. Going into last year, we were like, I don't know, like the third youngest team in the league. We were just full of first and second year guys. Obviously, we had some vets, myself, Kenny, Pittman, Buck. But we was full of young guys and really kind of came in just, Shane just kind of instilled that mentality, that competition, that love for the game. And, we just really developed this mentality of like competing anywhere all times. And, I think just, leading all the way up to that road of the Week 18 game against Houston, I think that was a prime example. And just as a vet who's won big games and lost big games, like the difference is so small, man. Like the difference between winning, especially those big games when you playing at a high level.
Oh yeah,
it was a hard lesson, for us who've been in the league to deal with, but it was valuable that I feel like our young guys, Drew Brents, Anthony, Josh Downs, like those young kids who like have a lot of talent that's going to grow in this league, but it was valuable for them to learn that, like, look, the difference between winning and losing in this NFL is that small. So, like, you got to take advantage.
Yeah, no question. I thought, like, I don't know how you felt about this, and maybe you wouldn't share, but, like, Steichen caught some shit for that call at the end of the game. And, Dan Campbell caught shit for some of the calls late in the game. But that throws, if it's on the money, convert it.
It's a hell of a call, bro. I told him, I'm like, bro, like, it is what it is. Like if that's JT right there, he's not open. I'm gonna let you know that at that point. That JT had just cribbed something from 50 yards. You think we're gonna leave him open on 4th and 2? Hell no. Right. So
exactly.
I mean, that's the beauty of the game. You know what I mean? But look, that's the risk they all take. As a play caller, you call something risky when you hit it, you're a hero. When you lose, you're a zero. So
no question. But I still think he's a hell of a coach, and I love what you guys got going there. And the other guy that I feel like had, just from looking from the outside in, your career started to really take off, I felt like, when Gus came. Mm-hmm. Like, was that a product of the last guy not seeing something in you, or you taking a step, or just a little bit of everything?
Well, what I would say is, just with the last staff, and I mean, I feel like you've been a part of it as well. Sometimes they get a vision of who you are, and it's kind of hard
You
to
can't come
see
off it.
who you've grown into. You know what I mean? So, and like I said, I think for a long time I held sometimes you hold it against like these coaches, like these they held me back. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna say I don't think about it every now and then when I'm in a tough bench set or something like that. You feel me? But I think I had to look at myself, to be honest with you, and realize, just the role that I played, like I said, as a young player, not really taking advantage of certain opportunities. But I would just say, with Gus coming in, man, like all I ever asked him was for opportunity and a fresh set of eyes. And, that's what he afforded me. And, I'm extremely grateful for him for that. And to be honest, over the last 2-3 years, we've been able to grow and build our relationship so much, man, and just, being able to help me see the game just so much better, so much faster. Me and him being honest about, even his growth, coming over to Indy. He's coming over to Indy, after being in, LA and Vegas for so long, kind of being typecast himself, still himself growing and still, expanding with the game as well, too. So I feel like our relationship, is definitely something that helped me play, at a high level. And I definitely give him that love and grace too, just for, giving me what I asked for, which was really just an opportunity.
Yeah, you made the most of it. And he has that personality, though. You can tell. I drank a beer with him a couple years ago, and I was like, man, this is a guy. I'll drink another with him. Like,
isn't he the most positive person you ever met?
Yeah, he's so positive. When you walk up to him, you're like, oh, this is one of those old NFL coaches. He probably just mumbles and he's negative all the fucking time. But he was really positive. And what you said just stood out to me, which is, and not a lot of coordinators are like this because they're a lot older than us. When you get turned 40, you're pretty stuck in your ways. I can tell you I'm almost there. But like this guy, you saying that he has evolved, that he's changed the way he does things and acknowledge that, that's a rare thing to hear from a coordinator. Mm-hmm. Because usually they're like, oh, my way's the way. And I'm from this tree. This is how I call plays. And the thing I love about him is from a personality standpoint, you can see it in the way he calls plays. He lets y'all play.
Yeah.
It's not about him. It's about the players. And I thought that manifested last year because especially that front really stepped up, man. And y'all didn't have, and I say this respectfully, when I say star, I don't mean great player. I mean like household name. There's one guy on that defense I feel like everybody knew on the front, Buckner, right? Mm-hmm. But they just picked up the option on Quiddy. I love Stu, one of my favorite players in the league.
I love him too.
Yeah, I bet you do. I bet you love Stu more than anybody in the league. He makes your job easy, huh?
100%. Yeah, some dogs up there for sure.
Yeah, what do you attribute that to? Like them getting all those sacks last year, and it was really evenly distributed. Like Ebukam had a bunch of sacks, but like how do you watched it from right behind, like you saw it happen. So what was it about that group that allowed them to play together so well?
Man, I think, it's crazy. Obviously, I got to definitely credit, Quiddy and, Dio, Odeingbo, at their growth, making that step, as a pass rusher, when you getting in, sometimes it just takes one of them games, you know what I mean? Dio popped out in Germany with 3-piece. Okay, you ready. You know what I mean? Quiddy playing New England, something about him going back home to New England just turn something in his head, and get going. So, definitely their growth. I would really say Samson, man. Samson Ebukam, bro. I knew him back when, I was training for the draft. You know how you go to like a training facility and they pretty much base your whole, look what we did to this guy. You guys are both, so we're going to do this to you. So weirdly enough, my comp at this spot was Samson. Shout out to Tracy Ford at FSP in Seattle.
Really?
So I trained with Samson for a while back when he was in San Fran and LA. And I just knew he was a dog, man. And honestly, him coming and just kind of really shoring up them edges, bro, with him and Quiddy on the opposite sides, just from a first and second down standpoint of just having two like real ends that's setting edges, that's getting afterwards, like that's hunting. Yeah. And then I think, it all starts and ends with Defoe, man. I mean, he's a talent. He's special. He's a superstar, like you said. I mean, just the things that he's able to do and how he's able to get after the ball. I mean, he's a leader of the team. You know what I mean? He's a guy that, we all, rally behind and believe in. And, I think everything that we really do kind of starts and ends, with 9-9, to be honest with you.
With a side of Stu, in my opinion.
First of all, Big Grove got suspended last year. I told him it was the hardest 6 weeks of my life. I tell you.
I bet it was, dude.
I tell you what, Big Grove, bro, and it's just like I feel like this them as a unit, man. I feel like it was one of those things where they really started to like feed off of each other and like really continue to grow together. So
Yep.
it's been great to see. Thank God we've been adding to the room. I mean, we got
Yep.
another 6'7", 300-pound guy, my man Raekwon, with another young boy first rounder. He pulling up next week. Hopefully he ready to work and get better too. So. Man, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie, Chris. I'm about ready to put them boys as best in the league, man. I don't know too many people with the guys interior, exterior, in that D line, man. I think them boys got something to prove this year for sure.
They got an argument to make. Their pressure rate was up near the top of the league. Their sacks were up near the top of the league, and most people couldn't tell you 3 guys that were on that group, but they came to play. And like I was going to ask you about Kenny Moore, but I just heard you call somebody a bull, so we got to talk Philly. And I didn't know you were from Philly.
Wait, you just found out?
I just found out. Well, because I watched your podcast and I heard you talk.
Philly,
I heard you talk, and I'm like, yeah, this guy's from Philly. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Place near and dear to my heart. It's a place you grew up. Like how relieved are you that the Sixers aren't playing the Pacers?
Yo, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. That would have put me in a real tough spot because like, I was telling people like I know the Pacers, like you know what I'm saying, like. Me and Holliburg go to the same church. I can't be out here rooting for Embiid, like you know what I mean. But
it's tough, dude.
You look, I'm a real Philly fan though, so like
I know you are.
We get a little left-handed, so I'm like, I ain't want Indiana to see me like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. But so thank God, unfortunately, the Knicks. But now I'm joining forces.
Now you're on the But here's the thing: I'm a Knicks fan, so the Sixers asked me to come up to the game a couple days ago, and I couldn't make it. But I was like, I felt kind of fucked up going up because I'm like, I got to sit there with my hands clasped, like I can't. And I pull for the Sixers because of my time there, but it's fucked up because I'm a Knicks fan. I've been one since I was a kid, but I love going to those games. I think the game day experience there is awesome.
Yeah, and I used to know, not used to know, but there's former senior VP of marketing, Brittany Boyd. We did a lot of work with her, with my foundation, Shalisha's Angels. So we had a really good relationship. So every time I came home, she always plugged me in, man, just going to all them playoff games. That Philly experience is different, man. It's like Showtime in there. You seeing everybody in the back.
It's like an East Coast Staples Center a little bit, man. Like I don't want to. It's not MSG like with some of the celebrities, but like if Dawn was out there the other day. Chuck was out there. Chuck's the man, and so I mean, yeah, it's a special place, and I just love the sports, like all being downtown. That was my favorite thing when I went to play there. Was like we practiced at NovaCare. I could scoot across the street and watch hockey. I could go watch baseball. I could watch basketball. The whole thing's awesome. And Micah Parsons is spending a lot of time at the Sixers stadium. So I don't know what you read into that. And since you're on an NFL team, you're not like a real Philly fan in football anymore. But I'm liking what I'm seeing with that dude frequenting those courtside seats there.
How do you feel about inheriting team beef? So are you from New York?
No, I just grew up. I grew up in Virginia and UVA. Because you used to play us orange and blue. I just liked how tough they were. Because in the 90s, I didn't want to be a front runner. I had to pick a team that didn't win the whole thing, but was like close. And so I picked the Knicks. We don't have I wasn't gonna be a Wizards fan or something. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But you think Micah could end up in Philly? You think you could see that? You think he would fit?
He's definitely posturing himself to do so. Mm-hmm. I mean, at the end of the day, it's always about that check. That's typically how I go. No I don't know though, man. I mean, the Cowboys and the Eagles got real beef though. I feel like when y'all play each other, you know what I mean? Like this is some animosity there. So it's like it's kind of hard when you kind of portraying like you want to be on the rival side. Now I get it. I get
from Harrisburg.
Yeah, that's another thing too. He's from Harrisburg. He's not from Philly, so that's a little bit of a different.
That's a little different.
But I love people from here. Shout out to Shady from Harrisburg.
Shady. Shout out to Mike L. Simpson, who's way older than you, but one of my teammates. But I like the podcast while you're playing the Pacers And Sixers hypothetical would have been a perfect example of why I'd be nervous doing a podcast while I play, because people, they're just on your ass about everything you say. And then more so during the season, you have a bad game, maybe you whiff on a big play or something. And like my first thought would always be, man, I got to go talk. And I talked to Kelce about this because he was doing his thing and he was like, should I do it? I'm like, bro, you're a Hall of Famer. Like no matter what you do, like you're not going to fuck up that bad where people are, and the same thing to you because you're a great player. So like, I don't know though. I don't know if I could have done it. Have you ever had issues where you're like, man, today's not the day and I got to get in here and I got to record?
It's crazy. I've had that. Now, I would say the hardest pod that we had to do was definitely after the Houston game.
Yeah.
Man, that one we called it still grieving, but that's because I was like really still hurting. Like you know how when you lose that last game, it's like I'm in a 3-week depression. You know what I mean? Nothing but tequila and bad things.
Yeah, I already know.
But at the same time,
I was drunk at exit meetings. Buddy,
you're getting crazy. But I would say the thing I learned. Well, first off, it's a commitment during the year. I will say that. I would say that's probably the hardest part. Like, when you're in the middle of it. I remember, like late it's holiday season. They changed. They flexed one of our games. We're not playing on Sunday. We playing on Saturday now. So like my week is messed up.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to still pod on the off day, and it's just kind of like I'm trying to spend time with my family. So I would say it's a commitment more than anything else. But after a bad game or when you're going through something, to be honest with you, I just be feeling like that's your chance to really just be real with the fans. You know what I mean? You're trying to. I feel like a lot of the player ran pods, at least ours with the trenches, a lot of it is really just trying to show. Not only our personalities, but also, to be honest with you, like we just like y'all. Like I hate to say, like when I was in high school, I'm sorry, Chris, I was tweeting crazy stuff about the Eagles.
Yeah,
like,
I bet you were.
Chip Kelly, like you ruining my team. You know what I mean? When I grew up, when I was a little kid, my grandmother used to cuss Donovan McNabb out every single time he was on my TV. Like she couldn't stand him. Now I like McNabb, Syracuse legend.
Yeah.
But that's just how I grew up. So I understand. So maybe for me personally, being from where I'm from, I be having like at least a sense of perspective. Like, okay, I did miss one tackle. I do lead the league. But if you want to say I'm a bum and I should go play in Taiwan next year, I get it. Like I'm not going to be mad at you for tweeting me that today. Yeah. But just let's take it easy and let's not bring my kids in this. You know what I'm saying?
You know what's so funny? Out of all the stuff I've seen you say, this is the one that I thought wouldn't play very well in Indianapolis. I'm going to read you a tweet. Not Afraid might be Eminem's only good song, by the way.
I stand on that.
Are you trolling all the white people in Indy?
Bro, let me say this, bro. Now I will say this. Till I Collapse was my squat song when I was in high school. I'll give
Everybody used to listen to Till I Collapse.
But Nate Dogg killed that joint. We ain't gonna act like Nate Dogg ain't on that as well.
Totally with you.
My issue with Eminem is not that he's not a legend. He's a legend. He's stamped. We not even going to argue and debate that. He's a great, right? My issue with him is compared to all the other legends in the rap game, I feel like he has the least replay value. Like you're not going to ride around listening to Eminem talking about locking his daughter in the closet while he goes does some. Like if you're listening to stuff like that, that's more about you being thrown. Like you're not spinning him. Like I don't know if in your playlist right now, I have a playlist of just songs.
I would put J. Cole in that category, though. No disrespect to my producer Reed, I love J. Cole.
That's crazy.
But the replay though, they're not like
Cole has more replay than Eminem though.
For sure. Okay, I got that. But Cole, like I'm a Kendrick guy. Okay, some people would tell me some of Kendrick's shit is not
a lot of Kendrick stuff. A lot of.
Okay, I like Kendrick. Okay, my favorite group ever is the most replayable group of all time. I don't care what you say. It's Outkast. Okay. All right. So we found some common ground there. And I generally don't like white rappers. If a guy walks up to me, he's a white guy, and he's like, I'm a rapper. I'm like, bro, so you better change careers. Except my guy, Joe Scudda and Action Bronson. Shout out to those guys. But yeah, like the Eminem thing, I hear what you're saying for sure. But I do think not Marshall Mathers LP, Slim Shady LP, which is the very first one, has some really replayable songs. Not the locking my daughter in the closet.
That's what I would ask you. When's the last time that you listened to it?
A couple months ago. Yeah, a couple months ago. I'm not lying on this. I really did. But I agree with you. Now that I've heard I'm totally with you, dude. Okay, so who's your top 3, 4 all time? I don't want to do 5. That's a stretch.
Well, music is very subjective. So, you know what I
Yes.
mean? We got to start off with that. I think not even based off opinion, just off of fact. I won't even debate with you. If you don't agree, we really ain't got much to talk about. Jay-Z is the best rapper of all time, period. We
Jay-Z.
ain't really got to talk about that, right?
Jay-Z. Some people will argue up and down that Nas is better, but I would not.
Yeah, that's bad. But we were arguing the stretch line, middle of stretch lines today. We was arguing about Lil Wayne versus Jay-Z. I don't think they understand how much we argue about nonsense in the worst times. Like,
yeah, no question. But you're arguing with all the Southern dudes, and I listen to a lot. I listened to a lot of New York rap when I was younger, so I like all the. I like all the samples and all the fucking. I was Dipset, the Locks, like all that stuff. But Wayne, undeniably, when I was in college, 08 Wayne, 07 Wayne. He had as good a run as anybody over that time period.
He definitely did. Okay. Wayne is stamped legend, pillar of the game. However, my Philly has to kick in. And me growing up in Philly, listening to Gilly the Kid,
I thought you were going to say Beans.
That Gilly wrote 2 of his albums for him. That's to me, it's a little dicey once you get to comparing him to Jay-Z, who doesn't write music.
I agree with you. Okay, I'm with you.
That's just me though. Like,
okay, look, so is it Jay, Wayne, and then 2 more?
I mean, I think I like Jay. I like Wayne. People hate it. You have to. I mean, I think he's still running. Well, this whole beef thing is actually crazy. But you know, Drake.
I'm over beefs, bro. I don't want. Can we just fucking be nice, bro?
I have a really, really bad take about it. It's just
no, give it, bro.
At a certain point, like. They just like. Do you think? Let me ask you this: if J. Cole, if Kendrick and Drake were in the room together, do you think they would fight?
If Kendrick were bigger than 5'5", I think so. I think Kendrick's been fantasizing about fighting this dude for the better part of a decade because this is the way I see the beef going. From the inception, they were like cool. Drake put him on some stuff, and then Kendrick just kept like poking him, and Drake kept being like, "I don't like fighting." And now like he's just because I think it's almost like Kendrick is so bored sometimes that he has to create something for him to get motivated by. I think that's what he's doing.
Nah, I agree with that 100%.
But the interpersonal shit, I can't confirm all this stuff. You know, like
it's just a war of words at this point. You know what I mean? At a certain like, who's lying? Is you lying? Did you hide a kid? You know. Okay. Are you signed to Interscope? I don't know. What are we discussing? Like, I don't know.
Well, here's what I want to discuss. If you could have a beef with any team in the AFC South, would it be the Titans?
No, because I already smacked them a couple times. It really be Houston. I'm not gonna lie to you. I love CJ, man. I support all our young brothers at quarterback, but CJ, he didn't say a lot of wild stuff to me, and our run-ins, you know, at the Super Bowl, at All-Star.
What did he say?
Many times, and he feeling himself. But look, he in Tokyo, so congrats. I'm happy for you, but I need to see that boy again. And
what did he say? What did he say? Because I kind of like the side of him that I see when he's on the pod with Micah, because Micah just says whatever, and CJ, he's got that dog in him, dude. You could just tell, like that's kind of who he is. Well,
we were talking, and he was, you know, how the Super Bowl is at Radio Row. You know, it's big, all that stuff going on. So he had the XM radio right before me, and he was on there talking about how he cooked the Colts in both games. And I saw him and I pulled him aside and I was like, you know, when you play Anthony, it was like 28-7 in like the second quarter. We were kind of blowing you out. I mean, we were playing cover 2 shell, you know, 2-minute prevent for 2 quarters and a half. So like, yeah, you threw for 300 yards, but you were getting blown out.
That's not a cooking.
Yeah, and he was like, bro, I ain't cook you. And I'm like, look, if that's what you consider a cooking with the loss, I mean, congratulations. And, you know, and then I have to remind him as well that he's never beaten Anthony. So,
yeah. I love this. You're a psychological warfare guy. Because this is why I know we would have had some fucking fun, dude. Because you like to poke motherfuckers, I could tell. And the funniest thing that I wanted to ask you about was when you poked Jason and got him real mad when you came up and played the Eagles.
No question.
You didn't play with Jason, so you don't know. Sometimes he kind of just blacks out, especially if you poke him. And I had heard y'all gotten into it. And my question for you is, like, growing up an Eagles fan, like in 2017, you were in college, right? Or
I
you were a
was
rookie?
training for the draft. Wouldn't even be my luck. I'm an Eagles fan my whole life. I finally lay down my flag to train for the draft. They win a Super Bowl.
I know, dude. And so, like, at some point, you probably were like, I love Jason Kelce. And then you guys are, like, fucking getting into it on the field. Like, how surreal is that when you're open practice? Like, that would be like me. I grew up a Panthers fan.
Mm-hmm.
And I did. I got ejected from a game when we played the Panthers. And people thought I was into it with Steve Smith, but I wasn't. I was into it with some other guy.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, like, I feel like it's weird when you grow up watching for a team and then you're like in the shit with them.
Yeah, well, what I would say is, and Chris, I don't know, a lot of people don't really know this about me, but I really don't like offensive linemen. Like, just like a little, I don't really care for them. Just a bunch of big fat guys trying to push me around all the time. So,
and they're not interesting.
They're not, and they're all fat guys trying to pretend they're not fat anymore. You know what I mean?
They're like mall security guards. They got that like fucking. They got that mall cop kind of like authority thing about them, and they love control. Like, their little fat O-line coach controls them all, and they all walk together to the cafeteria.
They're breathing heavy. Yeah, they do everything together. It's just
they fucking suck.
Yeah. Now I love Quentin though. Don't let me not get.
He's a dog. You know
what
I
love Q Nelly. I love Q Nelly, but no.
Pryor's my guy. I like Pryor. He's funny as fuck.
No, Matt, that's my man for sure. Yeah, so you know what I mean. Look, I'm out there and listen. I ain't gonna lie, Chris. I talk the whole game, whole practice. And I would just say when we played the Eagles, now I get it. Like I said, we were a young team. We got first and second year players. They are fresh from a Super Bowl with $1 million receivers, veterans all over this big lane in there.
Shiny toys everywhere.
Jordan, Jalen. So our practice tempos are a lot different. You get what I'm saying? Like they for good reason. Like they're fresh. They're tagging off. I'm out here with some young boys. I got to teach these youngins how to practice. So we thug, you know what I mean? And if I see you, I'm going to hit you. I was hitting them, and Jason wasn't taking offense to it. You know what I mean? Like I said, I might have called him fat once or twice. I don't remember. It was the heat of the moment. And then, it just became what it became, So, but it was look, I will say of all the bench clearing brawls that I've ever had, that was probably my worst loss, like, you know what I mean? But shout out to the Eagles for like not violating me because
they're big, bro.
No, look, you ever had like a joint practice fight and for some reason you just feel like it's more of them? Like, damn, like why y'all got more than 90 guys? Like, go look
up the Cowboys Rams fight in 2000, whatever the fuck it was, 15 maybe. It was like my last year there, and we were in California, and when I tell you, like, you ever watch Braveheart and motherfuckers just running, and I always wonder how they know who to kill. like I was running full speed through a field, and there were like 40 Cowboys just swarming, and like I tried to deck one, and then my first instinct after I decked him was like hit the deck. And then like I ran over to the fence. There were people fighting at the fence over here. There were people fighting over here.
Over there. That was a good job.
Yeah. Fans,
look,
everything.
I'm gonna tell you. Look, so Kelce hits me, boom. It goes down. Everybody's swinging. I get up. I'm right at Kelce. I grab him. So it's me, Kelce, and EJ. It's me, Kelce, and Speed at the bottom of the pile. We going
podcasters.
Yes, all of us. At some point, they pull Kelce out of the pile.
Yeah,
and then I'm on the ground. It's like one of them. Like the time is slowing down.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I look around. It's just me and EJ now. And nothing but Eagles, though. Like,
oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it was like at that point, they realized, like, okay, we're going to keep this football. We're not going to take this to where, you know what I mean? Because I'm from North Philly.
Like it was outside.
I done been in some situations. They kept it. They kept it wrapped. So I appreciate them for that. So shout out to the Birds, man.
They're not bad. They're not all bad people, man. I think you guys would get along good if you actually met. But the one story I wanted to ask you about, you talk about situation. This is a Syracuse situation that is one of my favorite stories I heard you tell, was the Waka Flocka story. Can you give us the abridged version of what happened? Because I know exactly what you mean. I mean, I just feel like there's some celebrities when, especially if you're younger, that could walk in and just totally unintentionally disrespect you. And then what do you do about it?
Bro, it was just Look, man, it was just one of them situations. Long story short, I'm at a concert with my now wife, then girlfriend. We hosted a concert. So after the concert, we had a chance to meet, like a meet and greet with Waka. We're doing the meet and greet, and then she realized that she lost her keys. In the middle of her losing the keys, she's crying, "Oh my God, I don't have my keys. Keys $150. There's no NIL. This is Syracuse too. We ain't got no under the table deals, ain't much going on. I have about $300 to my name at the time. You know what I mean? So, Waka, and it's funny now because like now that we got money and like, we'd been in the league and stuff, like, what is $500? Like, you know what I mean? You don't really look at it like that crazy. So he just opened up a book bag full of cash and just handed a 500 right in front of me. He don't care about me. He ain't even think. But like I said, to respect the situation, none of it was on no, here you go, pretty girl. Like he ain't throw no sauce.
He was being cool.
He ain't throw no flavor on it. But at the same time, I was just kind of like, damn, you just gonna give her some money like right in front of me, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we should slap box. Like, you feel me? Like, I don't know. Like, your pride kicking a little bit, you know what I mean? But it's Waka. You feel me?
Bro, it took me out. That story took me out.
So it is what it is. But look, we ain't starting for the 500 no more. So look, that's all I can ask for.
I wonder if you ever run into him, if you were like, hey man, I don't know if you remember this fucking thing, but
what's actually crazy. So I got drafted. So the guy I got drafted, he got drafted 10 picks before me, linebacker Matt Adams. He just signed to the Giants. So that's my boy. We got drafted together. Waka's his first cousin.
No way.
Yeah, I know.
So you guys could definitely chop it up over this.
I don't know, that's what my thing is.
That'd be funny. You got to have him on the pod and get him to tell the story, and you'd be like, "What the fuck?" I mean, that's just so funny. The way you guys were talking about it, I totally get where you're coming from on that, because you're
what are you supposed to do? But I was trying to ask EJ, because EJ is clowning me now. Because I had been told EJ that story, and he understood where I came from. Obviously, on camera. He tried to act like he didn't understand where I was coming from. But I was like, the only equivalent is, I'm like, okay, so say you in Vegas, right? You in Vegas, y'all leaving on Sunday night. Your wife your girl, she has something she has to do Monday morning. Y'all leaving Sunday night. All flights get canceled. Ain't really much you could do. But then I was like, I don't know, somebody that's just more famous and cool, like Odell or something, be like, oh, I got a PJ.
Hop on my PJ.
Yeah, like you going.
But would you go?
You gotta be like, no, man, we'll walk. Like,
but here's the way I look at it. Is it a Gulfstream? Listen, is there room for me? Well,
let me say this. Let me, to her defense, the keys was on like $100. We went to dinner. She bought me $2K with some VC. You know what I'm saying? So look, wifey held it down. Look, she became wifey for a reason. You know what I mean? That was, I tell her all the time, that was the biggest test of our entire relationship. How she played that situation.
That's so funny.
Is the reason why.
That's how regular guys feel all the time when they're around athletes. When we walk in a room, they feel fucking super threatened by us. Don't take your wife not your wife, but somebody at home. Like, if you get enough money to go sit courtside in an NBA game, just don't do it. Don't bring your wife. There's certain.
Would you feel a way if your significant other got called up at a concert?
Dude, you know what's so funny? Did you see Drake talking about the gal in the green, and it went viral recently? He was at a concert.
It was Channing Crowder.
It was my boy Channing's wife. I know her. But Channing said, no, here's what I would have said. And that's different than Waka bringing me a little
but she was in a suite too. It was, like, you're not going to leave a suite and go to this. I'm talking about y'all on the floor. Like, y'all on the floor. Drake's right here. You can smell his cologne. He right here. And then you with your wife, and she's in, he shorty in the green. He reaches his hand out.
I'm with her. We got to have any more. We want to talk more about this. We can do it outside after the concert. That's it.
Right there.
Yeah, I know he's got a lot of security, but my wife's not going with him anyways. Right?
100%.
First off, because we got 3 kids. Where are you going? Where are you going? I got 3 kids. I'm gonna get custody so fast.
That's funny. Guys turn into the women real quick. You start bringing up the kids real quick. Like, you're the mother of my child. You gonna go?
You're gonna do that? That's so funny. The way I held you down when you were trying to start that small business, it didn't work.
That's crazy.
Oh fuck!
That's hilarious. That's real.
That story took me out, man. Hey, and there's more great stories like that on the pod. Everybody's got to check trenches out, man. But the last thing I do want you Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee, which hey man deserved. You mentioned your foundation a little bit earlier. Can you talk to people about where they can learn more and what you do?
For sure. Yeah. So my foundation, Shalice's Angels, is named after my late mother. So I lost my mother and my grandmother, the two women that raised me when I was 16. And it's really just a foundation that's based in Philly that helps serve communities both in Philly and Indianapolis. Primary target is young women from tough communities. In honor of my mother and my grandmother. Every year we host a business academy in Philly. So we got one coming up in June, looking for small Black-owned businesses in Philly to come share their story to the kids in school. We do a lot of great things, like I said, both in Philly and Indianapolis. So thankfully, the Ursays and the Colts organization blessed me with the opportunity to be the Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee this year. Very humbling experience, man. Just to be around all the NFL greats, man. And not only just that, but just to be able to see and talk like how everyone's really able to affect their communities that they live in just different ways. Like so many guys in the league, so many different stories, so many different plights that we all on to try to make this world a better place. So that was really cool to be a part of. I ain't gonna lie. That was like one of my highlights of the year for sure.
Well, keep up the great work, man. I always say everybody who gets nominated wins, in my opinion, because you're up there, you get your cause gets amplified, and I don't think anybody should win because it's like when I won it, it was like I'm not a better guy than these guys. Like
you do feel like
yeah,
I was like, man, Cam Hayward is definitely better,
a better person than me. Right. I do some good work, but I'm kind of an asshole. Okay, last question, and I'm going to ask this to any ball players I get on the show. Do you play Madden?
I do.
Do you think you can beat me?
Right now, yeah, probably just off the strength. But okay. I will say that I've been better in the past. I don't know. You got 3 kids. You might be a little bit more versed right now. Like when I go upstairs, I got to go jump right into T-ball / Star Wars, Star Sabers, and
I already know, dude. I already know.
We play 5 sports at a time in this house, but
well, let's run a game sometime, man. I don't know if you're gonna run with the Colts.
Do you pick a team or do you randoms? Like how do you move?
We do randoms. I like playing with the Bills, or if I get online, I like beating people with the Steelers or the Jets because I like to emasculate them with a 78 overall or an 82 overall.
Okay, I respect you because I hate people who pick the 90 overall people. My sweet spot is really like 83 because that's when you're really earning your victory.
Texans.
You know what I mean?
Texans is 83.
No, I'm not using it.
Zaire Franklin, appreciate the time, dude. Good luck this year and hope you come back again.
Yes, sir. Likewise. Appreciate you, bro.